Yo, what is up, everybody? It is The Beast, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Beast On. And before we get going, I do have a huge announcement to make on this one. Big announcement. But before we get there, I want you to, right now, if you see my face, this Shayna Punim, if you hear my voice, I want you to subscribe to the channel. Go hit subscribe right there. I don't know if it's up there or right there. Wherever it is on your screen, hit subscribe. Listen, we are quickly gaining to my initial goal of 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer to 800. This thing is cranking. We love it. So please, just hit subscribe. And then if you want the little bell over there, if you hit that, then you get notified when a new video is up and all my hot takes are out there. So that's good. And you can always follow me on social media at Miami Radio Beast. And support me if you love me. Be one of my patrons, because there's a lot more to come at patreon.com/BrianTheBeastLondon. All right, so here it is. This is actually the 5th installment of my continuing diary on being unemployed. And here's the big announcement. I'm employed. Yeah, baby! We have a job! All right, let's get into this. So, I've been on a million interviews. I've submitted 1 billion applications in the last few months since I left my last job on 11/11/2019. And it's been really frustrating. There's been a lot of no's. There's been a lot of interviews that resulted in no's. The help that I thought that I would get from all these people that came pouring in after I was let go to say, hey, anything I can do to help you, it really hasn't been there. A lot of people have given great advice, but maybe not, taken it a step further and passed my resume along or made a phone call for me. There's been some, and I want to thank those people, but it's been a much tougher climb than I thought it was going to be honest with you, because when you've been around town like I have for the last 20 plus years, and you've built up a number of relationships, you feel like that somebody's going to have your back, that somebody is going to invest in you and really help you get done what you want to get done. And that didn't happen, but that's okay. Because, listen, life takes weird roads. So here's what ended up happening is, and I'm just going to be honest, I was on every job website possible. And those of you that are unemployed or have recently been unemployed will completely get this. I was on every job website you could be on, the Indeeds, ZipRecruiters, things I'd never heard of, like Lensa, and Nuvo, and Next, and blah, blah. My resume is... in parts of the... Listen, Kim Jong-un right now probably has a copy of my resume. It is everywhere. Because I just wanted to get my foot in the door somewhere. And as I was thinking about, hey, what do I want to do? Right? Because, let's be honest. And no offense to anyone, again, that works in radio, terrestrial radio right now. But terrestrial radio right now is kind of at a crossroads. And the 3 or 4 companies in town that do terrestrial radio, let me back up. Listen, if I wanted to move to another city, I could have a radio job right now. But when you have a family and you live in an amazing city like I do, in Broward County, a nice suburb, when your family is a part of the community, when you are a part of different charitable groups and you just laid roots in a community, it's really hard to say to your wife and your son, hey, we're going to pick up and move to Topeka because I have to do sports radio. That's just not something, listen, if it was 20 years ago when I was single and I wanted to conquer the world and be the next Howard Stern or the next morning funny guy or what have you, yeah, I probably would have picked up and moved. But we're at a different point in my life right now. So I love where I live. I love my community. I think my wife and my kid love it. We're really ingrained in where we are, and to make them move for me seemed like a bad idea. So that being said, with the current situation of radio that it is, whereas you have the biggest company is iHeart, and they just laid off 1,000 plus people, and they're ready for more employee dislocations. It doesn't seem like they're probably going to be hiring me for anything. And my past company, Entercom, loved working for them. But again, they're going through some things, and there's some more projected layoffs there. They don't have anything. Another company, Cox, just went through a new ownership thing itself. Who knows what their future is? And then there's Cumulus. They're not really in South Florida, but they went through a bankruptcy situation. So as you can see, the radio business right now is at a crossroads, and it might not be the best time to be entering that field again. And the other thing is and I eventually, once I get it all down and worked out and what have you, and there's NDAs signed and lawyers involved, like, I have a long-term big picture plan about not just myself being involved in media, but also how I can help others. And that's going to come. And so I think, the best advice that I've gotten is, hey, go into business for yourself. And eventually that's going to be the deal. But that's not right now. And right now I needed to find a job that really did two things. One, granted me really just a great ability to spend time with my family and also spend time at work. That work-life balance. I didn't want a job where I'd get a call at 3 a.m. from a board op that the station was off the air and the engineer wasn't picking up his phone and no one cared that the transmitter was out and the station's been off the air for 4 days and the streaming doesn't work and the app doesn't work and nothing works and the engineer doesn't care and no one cares. Does anybody care? I didn't want to deal with that anymore. And because of that, it was really important that my next gig didn't have any of that. I didn't want to deal with having to make up for people that didn't care. So that was big. Two, I needed to be able to spend time with the family when I wanted to. And that, I think, is the most important thing of any job. Any job, let me tell you a story. So recently, I went out to dinner with a business associate of my dad's. He's a great dude. He's from Holland. That means he's Dutch, for those of you that are counting. A big fan of Ajax Soccer Club. And he travels the world doing sales, and he loves that. But we were talking over dinner about how many things he misses at home. The stuff at his school, his kid's school, he has a 7 and 8 year old kid, the sporting events, all of that stuff he misses because he's just constantly traveling the world on the road, grinding, and it's really tough. It puts a strain on his family. And yes, it's probably going to pay off financially for him in the long run, but it's tough in the now. And I just, listen, in my past, I've done a lot of traveling. I was traveling with the Canes for 10 years, out of town every weekend, going on different things, being at games, missing big events, missing first steps, missing first this, missing first that. I don't want to be in that again. I just want to be my son's soccer coach and come home and watch some shows with my family and spend some time, go to the movies together. And you got to have that happy work-life balance, right? So that was one thing. The other thing I was looking for when I was looking for something, a new opportunity, was, to be honest with you, I wanted to work in a place that wasn't toxic. I don't want to get into too much. I don't want to disparage anyone or what have you. But by the time I left my last company, it was almost unbearable at my particular location. I think the company as a whole that I worked for is a great company, and I think it's going to succeed. But where I was, from my position, it was getting to be too much. There was all sorts of backstabbing and people that didn't care, or people that tried to assert themselves into places they shouldn't have been, and people that had the corporate card that shouldn't have had the corporate card. Just all sorts of stuff going on that really day in and day out, when I wasn't on the air with my boys, Tobin, Leroy, and Robbie, when I wasn't on for those 4 hours, the rest of the time was just, it was like scratching nails against a blackboard. I mean, I love what I'm doing. I loved radio programming. Loved it. Loved mentoring people, loved mentoring young people, loved doing all of that stuff, loved the camaraderie we had, but there was so much stress. And the one thing I can say about the last couple of months where I've been unemployed is, yes, I've gone through incredible bouts of depression and incredible bouts of anxiety. And there's been more times than not that I've just found myself just crying for no apparent reason because of all of this. But with that being said, I've been really stress-free. I mean, yeah, it's stressful to go on a job interview, or stressful having to apply for a job. There's stresses, how to pay the bills is a big stress, but it wasn't like I would come home from work and just not want to talk to anyone, or want to put my head through a wall, or just drive around in my car, ending up who knows where, because I just needed to completely decompress. None of that was around, and I was like, wow, life is pretty great when you're not so stressed out that you feel like your head's gonna blow up. So when looking for a new job, I just wanted to make sure I didn't get myself into a similar situation. And so out of, really just by chance, I happened to see an opening for a couple of managerial positions at a local company that's literally like 6 minutes from my house. That includes a very long light. It would be like 3 minutes, but this light to get out of my complex is just ridiculous. I don't know what the deal is. It's on like a 10-minute timer. But it's literally right down the street. I could walk there, I could bike there, I could do all sorts of things to get there. I drive because I'm lazy, but it's right down the street, and so that was important. And when I walked in to this establishment and started meeting with the two owners, who are husband and wife, and really the business operations person, I just felt like the sense of, wow, I belong here. Like these are great people. This is a great environment. This place is just uplifting and happy. And I was like, man, this feels good. I know this isn't, what I planned, or this wasn't how I thought it was going to go, but I could be really happy here. So, I went through the process and had to make some decisions. And the decision I made is that I've accepted a job. I'm going to be a director in training at the establishment called Code Ninjas. And you're saying to yourself, Beast, what the hell do you know about coding? And I don't, although I hope to learn, because it seems pretty freaking awesome and exciting. But basically, Code Ninjas is an after-school program from like 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. where kids go after school to learn how to code. It's the future of the world. And by the time they're done, and we say Code Ninjas, it goes on that martial arts scale. You start at a white belt, you end up at a black belt, all of those things. We're saying hiya a lot. But basically what we're doing is we're really helping kids to gain skills that will help them in the future in coding and computer and robotics, and that has to help in math and science and all sorts of other ways. And if you know me, you know that one of the things I love the most is coaching my son's soccer teams, right? Listen, my wife's a teacher and she deals with kids all day, every day in the classroom. And I don't necessarily have the patience to stand in front of a classroom all day, but I do love mentoring kids and being around kids and helping them grow. And that's why I continue to want to coach Zach's soccer team, because it means a lot to me. So this is just an extension of that. I'll get to really be involved in helping to enrich kids' lives. They'll be trained by the best coders we have, and I'll be there to support everybody as some sort of a manager, whether it be in sales and helping get your kid, your son, your daughter to come learn coding, and also in doing managerial stuff that I'm used to, like scheduling and operations and all of that stuff. But the most important part about it is it'll be in a great environment that I know everyone has my back, I have their back, there's trust, there's love, there's all of that stuff, and it couldn't be a better fit. Now you're saying to yourself, well, Beast, if you're gonna do this, Code Ninjas, like, where can we see you? Where can we find you? We want the Beast hot takes. You said you were gonna do this whole thing with media and whatever, and that's the great thing about this gig, is the hours are mostly afternoon and evening, which means if I get out of bed at a reasonable hour, I have all morning to work on the Beast stuff. I can do my YouTube videos. I've got other things planned. And in the meantime, I'll put together my grand scheme, my long view business plan and all of that stuff. That can all come together in the morning. And then I can go off to work and be happy for the rest of the day while helping to help kids grow and get better. So it really works out to the best of both worlds, because this way I can have a job that I love, that helps to pay the bills, but also just gives me something good to feel good about, right? Because I had said in earlier videos how crappy it was not being around that work environment where you're going to work every day and feeling loved and being a part of that camaraderie of a team. So I get that, but then I also get my mornings to work on me and work on, my brand, if you will. So it's really the best of both worlds. And I'm stoked about it. I'm really happy about it. Now, here's what I want to say. I want to make this commitment to you, because there's a lot of you out there. There's a ton of you out there. There's way too many people of you out there that are unemployed or have been unemployed or are going through tough times and have reached out to me and said, Beast, man, your videos, these things are really helping me get through. And so I'm not giving up on you guys. I will still be here for you. There's still so many lessons and so many things I've learned over the last couple of months of being unemployed that I have to express. And I think it's important to keep that dialogue open, because I think if I can help anyone get through a tough time, I think it's really important. But there's a lot of people I want to thank, because it's been a journey. First and foremost, my wife Allison and my son Zachary, I love you both dearly. Without you two, I don't know where I would be, but they've kept my spirits up every single day. My son's goal was to wake up this morning and make, by the way, my son makes the best omelet in South Florida. I don't know what the deal is, but he's figured out how to fold that puppy perfectly. Oh, so good. Zach wanted to get up this morning to make me a special omelet. Of course, since Zach tends to sleep until the last possible moment, his intention of getting up a half an hour early kind of backfired, but he did give me a 200-second hug, which I'm still trying to adjust my back from, and I love him dearly. My wife left me a great note. So thank you, Allison and Zach. I love you both. You're awesome. Some other people I want to thank. along the way. Obviously, my new bosses and the new people I'm working with in Tracy Leon, Eric Leon, and Christina Weaver from Code Ninjas. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate your love and your warmth and your smiles and your positivity and everything about you. And I'm so excited for this journey we're about to go on. I can't tell you how stoked I am. I want to thank a couple other people that have been great to me in this time. One, my mentor of all mentors, Michael Matlock, has been there for me from the start with great advice. Sometimes advice that I didn't want to hear, but I had to hear. And he's just a great friend. And money can't buy that. And maybe one day I'll finally convince Mike to invest in some scheme that I have, because he's always around the big deals. Let's go make a big deal, Mike. Come on. I want to thank Dr. Alon Payenson. A lot of you know Dr. Payenson. If you don't, you should. Go to doctorsoncall365.com. Dr. Payenson is a good friend. He's also an amazing doctor. He's an ER doc that also, when he's not in the hospital, is running around the Tri-County area, coming to your house and making sure that you're good, and also preventing you from having to wait for 7 hours at the ER or the urgent care. And he was the first one to reach out and say, hey, you're going to help me. I feel like I've let him down because I haven't done as much as I wanted to for Dr. Payenson, but there's time. We're going to get there. And we're going to conquer this thing. But thank you, Dr. Payenson. Alon, you are a sweetheart. Your entire family is amazing. You and Joyce are two of the best people I could possibly ever know. That's for sure. I want to thank my good friend Robin Fink, who is climbing the corporate ladder and is doing awesome, and one of the only people that actually said, hey, Beastie, send me your resume. I'll get it out to everyone I know. And that's the kind of stuff that touches me. And Robin, you'll be one of my best friends forever. I love you and thank you. I also obviously would like to thank a lot of my former coworkers that checked in on me to see how I was doing, sent me a text. A lot of you did, a lot of you didn't. This is where you find out where your real friends are. But there's been, you know who you are. Those of you that checked in on me, you know who you are. And I love you for it. I love you for it. I love you for it. Last but not least, always want to thank my parents, because without Jerry and Diane, there's no me, and they always support me in whatever I do. I couldn't ask for better parents, to say the least. My mom gets a little crazy, but that's okay. It comes with the Jewish mom thing, and sometimes my dad, he doesn't really say much sometimes, but it's fine. It's good. It's all good. My parents have been great. I love them dearly. I think they did a pretty good job in raising me and instilling some pretty good values and morals in me. And I think they've been amazing. And last but not least, my three new amazingly awesome friends in Tracy, Eric, and Christina at Code Ninjas. Again, I love you. Thank you for the opportunity, and I can't wait to get some stuff going on at Code Ninjas. All right, that'll do it for me on this one. That was the big announcement. Listen, you're not going to lose me as the Beast. That's what my mornings are going to be for, dedicated to all of you that are watching. And my afternoons will be dedicated to helping the youth of America be more enriched and get smarter, as we would say, up in the 617. Oh, by the way, I'm on TikTok now at Miami Radio Beast. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I'm on TikTok, so feel free to find me there. Follow me on all social media at Miami Radio Beast. Hit the subscribe button. Support me on patreon.com/BrianTheBeastLondon. And for all of you watching all the time, I will see you when I see you. Peace. it won't stop. How about if I just do this? Bye now.